Okay, good morning. So we were discussing on the elastic emission machining. So unlike other process, elastic emission machining, here it is a process of machining, any process of machining where the material is removed by elastic fracture and not the plastic deformation. So without plastic deformation, using elastic fracture, the material is being removed to get the atomic size. So that is the elastic emission machining. And you can see here, you'll be able to get a finished surface like a mirror surface. So that much accurate surface quality will be obtained through elastic emission machining. And regarding the crystallographic structures, it will be undisturbed. And here how the procedure or regarding the procedure of material removal, the material removal is being done by the chemical reaction, or the material removal is happening through the chemical reaction which is between the workpiece surface and the particles. And the particles, how it is being transported, so the particles in the form of fine powders will reach the surface through the uh, pure water, by flowing through the pure water. So that's how. So basically this is the chemical reaction, it is occurring, or the machining is done using the chemical reaction between the workpiece surface and the particles. And this is not by shear action or abrasive action or anything like that. Okay, and now this is the figure. Here you can see the rotating sphere made of polyurethane ball. So usually polyurethane ball of 56 diameter, that will be used, and it will be rotated using a variable speed motor. And the workpiece, this is the workpiece surface, you can see here, this is the unmachined surface. And so this is the unmachined surface, sorry, unmachined surface. And this is the machined surface here, finished surface. So in between the machining liquid is being added. Here it is given abrasive grains, but the machining is not done by abrasive action. This is to chemically react with the surface. Okay, so this is the procedure. Here you can see while rotating, it will be moved through the surface gap, the gap over here. And here the pressure is increasing with the high pressure, so that and then it will be able to adjust the pressure, so that the quality or the rate of material removal also can be controlled. The same thing in a magnified manner. Okay, so that was regarding the machining operation, that is elastic emission machining. Now we move on to some material addition processes. Material addition process, mainly involves many other operations like rapid prototyping, stereolithography, etc., three-dimensional milling, FDM, etc. So basically this all works under the principle of rapid prototyping. So we'll see what is a rapid prototyping and how it is being done. Okay, so rapid prototyping. സോ എന്താണ് ഈ പ്രോട്ടോടൈപ്പ് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞാൽ അറിയാം അല്ലേ? അപ്പോൾ നമുക്കൊരു എൻ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് വേണം. സപ്പോസ് വി വാണ്ട് എ എൻ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ആൻഡ് ദ ഡിസൈനർ ഹാസ് എ idea. So this is the particular model, or this is how a product should look like, the end product should look like, and he want to convey this idea, his idea, to the user. How he will do that? Usually they may use a CAD model. Yeah, he will be drawing the particular model in a CAD model, and he can present it. So there will be a visualization so that the user can get an idea of how it is there. This is one case. But what the thing is, if we are getting a solid model, then it will be little more good, as the user can fix it over somewhere, or he can closely examine the part. So that is a rapid prototyping. That is a prototype, or the model, original model, maybe of another material. Anyway, a model is being created. So not a virtual model, but original model. Okay, so that is a rapid prototyping. So it is a class of technologies. So it is a class of technologies where automatically it is used to automatically construct the physical models from the CAD. So in the CAD, computer aided designing, we create a model using the software, any software like AutoCAD, Pro E, CATIA, anything. We make a physical model initially from the CAD. Sorry, not physical model. First of all, initially we make a model in the CAD. From there, automatically we create a physical model which is visualized, or which can be touched, or the three-dimensional object is being created from the virtual CAD models. That is a rapid prototyping. It can be used for design features, testing the design features, ideas, concepts, functionality, output, performance, etc. So in order to test the performance, how it may perform, or the output, the functionality, whether it can be fitted into any particular layer or not, like that. And also for explaining the functions, features, ideas, concept, etc., it will be useful. So that is the rapid prototyping. So rapid prototyping is nothing but creating a three-dimensional object or three-dimensional model from a pre-existing CAD model, or the CAD model, from the CAD model wherever we design. From that we just create a solid model. That is a rapid prototyping. So how it is being done, or how the physical model is being created? So it is created by layer. So layer by layer we are creating. Suppose we want to create a model like this. What we do is, first of all, this is a material addition process. So using any material like plastic, anything, ceramics or like that, first we create one layer, then over that we will create another layer, and ultimately it will join and form a the end product like this. So what we do is, first of all, we create a CAD model of this particular object, and later we move to the any machine, appropriate machine for depending on the or based on the uh, application. Then it will create generate the prototype by layer. That is a layer manufacturing. Okay. Now this is the case, that is virtual prototype or CAD model. We already said for analyzing or converting the idea of our designer to the user. So usually the designer is having some ideas, and suppose the end user or the customer needs to know how the end product is like that. Then there are two options, whether you can go for a virtual prototype. Virtual prototype means the CAD model. So that is not sufficient for the designer to visualize the part adequately. So it is not that much sufficient. So we move to rapid prototyping, and we have seen what is a rapid prototyping and how it can, or what is the procedure, basic procedure, simple thing. That is, we are creating layer by layer and then adding it to form a final product. So this is why we call it as a material addition process, where the material is being added layer by layer. And the basic materials generally used for 3D printing, three-dimensional printing, includes these things, that is plastic, glass, ceramics, rubber, paper, titanium, and metals. Usually these materials are being used for 3D printing. Now these are the two differences between conventional machining and rapid prototyping. So in conventional machining, what we do is, if we want to have a particular geometry like this, what we do is, first of all, initially we take a part. From that we will remove the surface, machine the surface, and form the final product. So by removing the material, that's why we call it as a subtraction process. We are subtracting the unwanted area or unwanted volume from the initial block. So in this case, what happens is, there will be a lot of material removal or material wastage will be there. In the next case, that is in rapid prototyping, what we do is, we are just adding the material. There is no initial material available. So we create the model by adding layer by layer like this. Then in this manner, we create the final product. Okay. So we produce the model by adding the material layer by layer. That's why we call it as an material addition process. So from conventional machining to rapid prototyping, we shift the process as a subtraction process to addition process. So there are many advantages for this, because we have reduced the material wastage in this process. So for more clarity, we will see some animation.
Motorola Product Testing Services offers rapid prototyping utilizing state-of-the-art stereolithography technology. Prototyping process begins.
Here we have a computer monitor. This is a monitor, and we have a CAD model which we will make in the CAD software. This is a 3D CAD model which we want to make a prototype, and there is a prototyping machine. We can also say this machine is a 3D printer which make 3D print. This is connected by the wires through the monitor. This is connecting cables, and there is layer by layer manufacturing of CAD model will be find out. This machine makes first layer, second layer, third layer of the CAD model, and by layering this model the final product will be made by this prototyping machine. So in the rapid prototyping process we will make any object layer by layer using CAD model. By using this CAD model we will make 3D object by layer and fuse together by different means, and the product will be like this. This will be our final prototype, and this will be made by our CAD model and layer by layering process. So this is our rapid prototyping process for making prototype very rapidly by using of 3D printer or by using of prototyping machine. Thank you.
With the conversion of our customer's three-dimensional CAD drawing into a file that is exclusively used for the rapid prototyping procedure. The part is virtually positioned in order to obtain optimal quality, accuracy, and fine detail preservation. Special software prepares the file for a prototype build by converting the design into thin cross-sections that map out the solid regions of the part. When downloaded, the output file guides an ultraviolet laser beam and scans a specified cross-section on the surface of the liquid photopolymer resin. A platform attached to an elevator assembly is used as the foundation for the prototypes and incrementally indexes the platform into a vat of resin. Once the liquid photopolymer resin is exposed to the laser, it solidifies into an epoxy-like plastic material. The process is continued layer by layer, cross-section after cross-section until the part is complete. Once the building procedure is complete, the prototype part is removed and processed through a solvent rinsing system to remove residual and uncured resin. The part is then cured by placing it in an ultraviolet post-curing apparatus. After finalizing the curing process, the part is ready for hand finishing, sanding, bead blasting, and painting, dependent on the intended use of the prototype as specified by our customer. With 10 years of experience, our rapid prototyping team has the skills and resources to provide our customers with accurate and professionally refined prototype parts that can be utilized for design verification or tooling aids, analyzed for fit, form, and function, or exhibited for promotional purposes. Contact us to quote your next rapid prototyping project.
So now we'll see the advantages. What are the main advantages of rapid prototyping? First one, rapid prototyping. It helps in the rapid evaluation of manufacturability and design effectiveness. So the rapid evaluation, we'll be able to have a rapid evaluation of the manufacturability, whether it is easily manufacturable or not. Suppose the particular product, a particular design can be manufactured, or how effective the design is. These types of things can be evaluated using rapid prototyping, and this is the important tool for visualization and concept verification. So same thing, this is considered a rapid prototyping is an important tool for visualization. So you'll have a good visualization, even though using virtual prototyping like CAD models, we'll be able to have a visualization, but still more convenient way is rapid prototyping, where you be able to show this to any user. Suppose in case you have to show the particular model to a workshop, you need not want to carry your laptop in order to show the particular video or not, or anything like that, analyzing. Suppose the worker want to know the component, then it will be more beneficial if we'll be getting a prototype in a solid format. So this is a important tool for visualization and concept verification, and it helps in knowing the final, how the final product will look like. Now regarding the cost, as the development costs are reduced, so we can say the total operation or the rapid prototyping is cost effective. Development cost is reduced means as the concept is clear or a good visualization is being done, we can reduce many costs related to development. So the development area, the cost will be reduced, so we'll be able to make it cost effective. Now we see this is usually a material addition process and not a material subtraction process. So we'll be able to reduce the wastage. We can reduce maximum wastage, and the material can be even recycled. And next, it will be easier to find the design flaws in the earlier development stages. So in any development, product development cases, in the earlier stages itself, we'll be able to find if there is any design fault. Suppose we are just designing in a analytically, and after which when we move on to the production, suppose we are producing a lot of products, then only we will be able to know while inspecting there are certain flaws or there are certain clearance extra needed, such and such, then it will be a problem. So if we create a prototype first, then we'll be able to analyze it or inspect the cases, or we can predict the possibility of the failure. So the design flaws, we can easily identify that. Next, better communication between the user and the designer. That is the main thing. That is both the user and the designer, they can convey their ideas. So there will be a better communication between the user and designer regarding the machining or product development or designing. So these are the main advantages while using rapid prototyping. Now we will see what are the basic types of rapid prototyping. Before that, the steps. These are the main steps in rapid prototyping. In any process, whether it is a selective laser sintering or three-dimensional printing, fused deposition modeling, or stereolithography, anything, these are the main steps. First of all, we create a 3D CAD model. So first of all, first step is to create a 3D CAD model of the design, any design. Then the second step is, from the CAD model created, we convert this model into STL format. Into STL for another format which is known to the machine, particular machine. So first of all, first step is we create a 3D model, CAD model, then it is converted to STL format. Then this next is slicing the STL file into thin cross-sectional layers. So we know the basic procedure of any rapid prototyping is we are creating in layer by layer. So layer by layer analysis will be done, and then it will be added to form a final product. So the third step, what we do is we slice the STL file into thin cross-sectional layers, construct the model one layer on top another. So layer by layer we added and construct the model. Final model is created. After which the final step is cleaning and finishing the model. After that we finish the model. Light finishing will be done and cleaning will be done. So these are the basic procedure or steps in rapid prototyping. First of all, create a 3D model, then convert the model into STL format, slice the STL file into thin cross-sectional layers, construct the model layer by layer, and finally clean and finish the model. Okay. These are the types of rapid prototyping. So two types of classification we are done. First classification is based on the material through which the prototyping is done, or the usage of material, which material is being done, or the type of material, whether it is liquid or solid or powder based. Based on that, we classify into two, that is liquid based and second is solid based rapid prototyping system. So in liquid based system is nothing but in this system the initial form of the material chosen is the liquid state. So suppose you want to have a product in a plastic, make a prototype made of plastic, then if the initial material, or we are provided with a liquid plastic, and using this liquid plastic we are creating a solid product, then we say that it is a liquid based rapid prototyping system. Suppose it is in a solid form or a powdered form, or wires, in the form of wires, pellets, anything, then we say it is a solid based rapid prototyping system. So in the for the liquid based prototyping, the example is stereolithography apparatus, that is SLA. And for solid based RP systems, first of all SLS, that is selective laser sintering, three-dimensional printing, fused deposition modeling. So these are the first case or first type of classification of rapid prototyping. And the another case is nothing but whether it is a subtractive or additive. Subtractive either in the case of a conventional machining, we just subtract the material, thereby we are creating an end product or end model prototype we are creating. And the addition is we are adding layer by layer, that is a earlier thing, that is stereolithography, fused deposition modeling, selective laser sintering, laminating, object manufacturing, 3D printing, anything. This all comes under the additive classification. So these are the types of prototyping. Now we will see one by one each process. First of all, we will go on to stereolithography apparatus, SLA, that is liquid based rapid prototyping technique. So that I think will continue on the next class.